Welcome, guys, to another episode of Cocktails and Conversations. I am your host, Rashawn Prince. With me today, I have my brother, my companion, Mr. Rayshawn Pelot. So the drink for today is gonna be an apple cider rum punch. It's basically made with, you can use whether it's gold tequila you would like. I chose Bacardi. Apple cider, not vinegar, just regular apple cider. And lime juice or lemon juice, whichever one you choose, but I chose sweet lime juice. Your garnishes are going to be your mint leaves, cinnamon sticks, and a ripe crisp apple. So,
apple with the form.
Right. No, it's all good. I promise you that's freshly picked. Yeah. All right, so while I make this drink, I'm going to give Mr. Pelot a chance to introduce himself, what he's all about, where he's from. So, floor is yours, bro.
All right, cool. All right, don't make it too damn strong. That drink you made yesterday was crazy. But yeah, so introducing myself. How y'all doing back there? My name is Rayshawn Pelot. I am from Savannah, Georgia. I'm a Chatham. What y'all like to call us, Chathamites or whatever?
Chatham.
Disrespectful, by the way, but yeah. Rayshawn Pelot from Savannah, Georgia. Moved up here from Savannah to Atlanta about roughly 4 years ago. Currently, my main occupation is forensic scientist. That's currently my 9 to 5, but I do be out here hustling. I will say my hustles are diversified.
Okay.
I'm part of the nightlife. I'm also a co-founder of a nonprofit organization, and that's one of the main things we're going to be talking about today, and why it's important. And then we're going to be tying some other life skills into it. So I am the co-founder of Squad. Squad stands for Supporting Quality Urban Adolescent Dreams. And
Squad.
And we're a STEM organization. We mentor, but we also teach our students how to problem solve, because as you can see, that problem solving is very, very, very important. When COVID kicked off this year, you can see a lot of people scrambling. And it's honest, because we never really understood the concept of problem solving, like being able to identify solutions instead of panicking. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. Hopefully my boy don't get me too drunk and I start giving out too much game, because the game is supposed to be sold, not told.
Right, drop jewels, man, always. Hey, man, interesting how me and this guy met, right?
And that's gonna be one of the things he wanted to also talk about, relationship. But it's crazy how we met and connected. But we'll touch on that later too.
Right, man. I'm talking about crazy. I wasn't even thinking about school at the time, bro. I promise you I wasn't. Right. School was the furthest thing on my mind around that time. And like he said, man, we're gonna be talking about the importance of relationships, nonprofits, how far you get with these things, especially if you have a passion for it. I want to remind you guys that everything that we do here is about passion. So
that's me right there. God damn, what I been look like that?
Hold on, wait, let me top you up there. Go ahead and
okay.
Hey,
I want y'all to check this out. I want y'all to see the nice mint leaves. I want y'all to see the cinnamon stick in it. We also got an apple in there. All right, Prince.
Yeah, man.
See how you coming?
Man. We come hard.
I ain't gonna lie. Hey, don't think this is for the aesthetics of my boy's show, but hey, I don't drink liquor out no straw. I actually made it myself, but they don't sell too. I got you.
So, man, give you an honest opinion, man. Same thing I tell Mac, man. We accept criticism around here.
I ain't gonna lie. Shit good, bro.
Like I say, man, it's good, man.
Hey, hold on. Get him over here. Get your cocktail on.
Yeah, so it's great for seasonal time, man. You know the fall's coming around, man. The cinnamon is good for you. The apple cider opens you up with that rum, gives it that tropical and crisp taste that we all know and love.
Yep.
And with the cinnamon sticks, it just boosts the cinnamon flavor even more. But they do have cinnamon rum too, if you guys want to indulge in those as well. But back to the purpose and main topic and focus for this YouTube channel. If you guys haven't already, make sure you like, share, subscribe. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram Live as well. But for the main purpose of this show, we want to basically educate those who come from similar backgrounds, marginalized communities, who typically don't understand what's really going on out here in society and typically don't understand how it may affect them, especially with this election coming up. Like, a lot of us grew up hearing with Democrats because our grandparents are Democrats and that's what our moms tell us to do, but we typically don't know exactly why. And this show is to basically like highlight those types of situations and basically while we're out here dealing with not only systematic but systemic strongholds. So without further ado, my first question for you, Mr. Polo, is nonprofits. Are they really essential to our communities? Like, how do they benefit us?
Put your reporter voice on. Gotcha. I mean, yes, they are. Ultimately, nonprofit organizations, they are essential to communities. I mean, any organization that's created to serve a purpose or serve a cause, is definitely needed. But I will say this, because you mentioned this earlier when you started talking about having passion. When y'all out here creating these nonprofit organizations, you guys definitely need to have a passion behind it. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The reason being is because a lot of people get hurt in the crossfire. Well, I've been having a mild argument, well, not argument, but a debate with the individual that I know. The topic was action over intention. It's kind of a two-sided coin,
Action over intention?
Yeah, action over intention. So like in regards to nonprofit organizations, I mean, yeah, you're doing it right, but what's your intention behind it? See, when you have the wrong intentions, people get hurt. Like imagine like creating a nonprofit organization. Like, okay, let's use mentorship, right?
Right.
It's needed. That's a no-brainer. That's without a doubt. We know that mentorship is needed. We know that the youth needs guidance. But at the same time, if your intention and your heart is not into it, who suffers? The babies, they suffer.
Yeah.
They get the short end of the stick.
So it's like more moral compensation. Is that what you're saying?
Not even necessarily about a moral compensation, but it's just like, do what calls you. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you create these organizations, like, do what the hell calls you. And, this may be a sensitive topic or a sensitive title to put on it, but, like, you really need to do what calls you. Like, I'm sorry, like, everybody doesn't feel that calling to, necessarily be a mentor. And that is okay. You know what I mean? Like, just because you're not a 9-to-5 mentor doesn't necessarily mean that you don't pull people to the side and be like, oh, man, little bro or little sis, man, tighten up, man. This is what you need to do. Or, like, learn how to be yourself. We naturally do that, right?
Right.
But when you go out and you create an organization behind mentorship and your heart is not really into it, you're going to get burnt out. And I see a lot of that. And when you get burnt out, again, like I say, them babies, they suffer.
Yeah.
So imagine, like, okay, for some of the people on right now, imagine you just meet someone, right? You're single, you just meet somebody. Everything is like going great. Everything is good. Y'all going on good dates. Y'all good conversation. All that stuff. Then all of a sudden, then out of nowhere, that person just stopped talking to you. Now, doesn't that hurt? He be like, what the hell? What's going on, right?
Right.
So imagine doing that shit to kids. You know what I'm saying? You got to be consistent when you deal. Yeah, because guess what? Like, you make such an impression on these kids and you don't even realize it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you are really changing their lives. You're really, like, by being there for that moment, you know what I'm saying? You just don't know what you do for them. So when you just stop doing it, when you just stop being committed because you become burnt out, when you start to see how much work is really involved with running a nonprofit.
Some people will argue the fact that, like, it's the time. Like, how do I pay my bills and, like, pursue my passion? How do I make sure my everyday life is taken care of if I'm out here just basically just giving and not receiving? So,
I mean, put it like this. Just like, you dating and, no shade or nothing like that, but you know how you dating and a woman always says you make time for what you really want. It's the same thing with that because, like, I mean, granted, yeah, you got bills and stuff to pay every day. Just like when you trying to holler at that girl or whatever that you just met. As soon as you get off work, what you doing? You texting her. While you at work, what you doing? You texting her, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing when you dedicating yourself to a cause. You know what I mean? So, like, when it comes to creating a nonprofit, bro, that shit is not easy. You know what I mean? Right. Like, we've been doing this for 4 years and we're still ironing out certain kinks. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot. It is a lot to do it. So, like, if you're not really about that life, you're gonna get burnt out, and then people are gonna suffer from it.
Wow, great answer. I honestly never thought about how much passion it does take to like not only start a nonprofit but sustain it as well, because like you say, you never want the everlasting effect to affect the child that you're hoping to reach out, and I hope that's everyone's purpose who does start a nonprofit, is to reach.
So like for clarity, when I say do what calls you, like do what's in the center. You know what I'm saying? Like do what really calls you. Like, bro, everybody doesn't necessarily feel called to go feed the homeless. People put on these homeless drives. Don't get action over intention, right?
Action over intention.
Granted, action over intention. Yeah, you gave Mr. Clarence or whatever a blanket. You know what I'm saying? You gave him some of the necessities that he was lacking. That's good. Mm-hmm. But when you're out here, taking pictures with Mr. Clarence, and I may know Mr. Clarence, and I know that may be the father of somebody, whatever. Right, now you just ousted the whole family. Right. You know what I mean? So again, that action over intention, bro, people suffer in that crossfire. So when I say do something that calls you, do what really calls you. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, I grew up without a father. You know what I'm saying? My father was killed when I was younger. So at some point, I will do something for young men without fathers, you know what I'm saying? Because it personally hits me, like full transparency.
I seen you take the pause, got a little emotion.
Full transparency. I literally learned how to change a tire by myself 2 years ago. You want to know how I learned? Because I seen this old lady outside of my job. It was raining like shit outside, and I was walking past, and I was like, "Really, God, you gonna test me like that?" It took me about 45 minutes, but I changed the tire, and luckily it didn't fall off because I saw it work the next day. Right. But but you don't realize those certain things that your father teach you how to do. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you don't realize what you're missing until you're really older. So children without fathers, you know what I'm saying? Like
that goes back to my first question too, man. When I actually wasn't more so of a moral compensation, because if you're not called to do something, then what are you really doing it for? Action over intention, right? So it's just like, what am I? Am I here for the pictures? Am I doing it for the gram? Or am I doing it because I'm called for this? I know I'm called for it. It's my passion. It's my calling. God called me to do this. God is showing me things that this is the path that I need to walk on. Right. Which brings me to my next question. Yeah. All right, how is networking effective for people, and how have you personally utilized this within your own life?
First of all, even when I don't necessarily like to say networking. I really like to say relationship building, because ultimately that's what I do. I don't necessarily go out and be like, oh, let me rub elbows with this person. Right. No, when I go out to meet people, it's with intention, and I want to build a relationship with you. Right. It's very essential. Like some of the success that I have gained, majority of the success that I have gained since being in Atlanta has come from me, building relationships with people. Right. Getting started, even getting started and throwing my own event, or our team throwing our own events out here. Man, you know how many restaurant and club owners we done took out to lunch? Like, these dudes, these folks got it. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? We taking the tab. Yeah, we building relationships, because sometimes it's like when you going out, you trying to quote unquote pick people's brains or whatever. Like, man, that's consultation. You know what I'm saying? But if you're going to buy somebody a drink and be like, man, what's going on? Sometimes you want to ask. Sometimes they don't even want to talk about work. Sometimes they just want to vent.
Chill, dog.
So guess what?
Get to know you.
So guess what? When you build that relationship with them, the game be free, because now I'm sharing some information with a friend. You know what I mean? So you got to build. It's about building relationships out here. You know what I mean? Like, all of that going out to network and not having no intention, which is another key thing. Like, man, you gotta have intention. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you going out and meeting people. I can't tell you how many times I've been in certain spaces, and rather people coming up to ask me a question. You know what? I used to do this too. I go out and I know this person is a quote unquote, person of some type of business savant or whatever the case may be. I know he's a person to know, and so I go up there and I don't have any mutual information to trade with him. I'm just going to be like, oh yeah, you such and such or whatever. Let's exchange contact. Guess what? I ain't got shit to follow up with him on.
Hey, that reminds me of a conversation I had with this guy one time at this bar, right? It was this dude walked up to me. He was asking him 1,000 questions, So dude just wrote his number and just told him down, just call him. So I asked the guy, I'm just like, what was that guy's problem? Because the way, how you can tell people's body language, right? Yeah. So I'm like, what's that guy's problem? He was just like, man, he just wasted so much of my time. And he got a piece of napkin and wrote down 380 on it, and he circled the 8 and wrote it down. He was like 8 hours. He was like, you have 308 hours in a week. You want to take at least 8 of those hours throughout each day to think about nothing but yourself. And he was like, right about now, that guy brought nothing to the table for me. And people, like he said, will dismiss you if they feel like that you are wasting their time. Action over intention, right?
I mean, action up, but in this case, you know what I'm saying, you need to have intention. I mean, and even though I'm more of a person, even when we talk about the action over intention, like I said, it's like one of those two, it's a double-sided coin. But I'm more so on the intention side now. Yeah. Now I used to be more about action. But
that's how everybody does when they start off. It's
kinda, but you know, you save yourself a lot of bullshit when you have intention. When you have intention, when you're approaching a situation with intention, you eliminate.
But what if someone has the intention, but they don't know the right questions to ask?
Okay, but at least you have an angle. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't.
Where they coming from?
People going to a networking event don't even know nobody there. You know what I'm saying? Like, so again, you know what I'm saying? Like, know what you're going for.
Well, maybe I will. And this is not to contest anything that you're saying, right? But like, some people are natural opportunists, right? Some people know that, like, in any situation, even if they don't have a clear angle or a clear path for themselves, if they're in the right situation, they can make do for themselves. So, how can you utilize that, like, innate trait, right? In a situation like that? How would that come into play? If I don't have any intentions, if I don't have an angle, but I know where I want to go and I know where I want to be in life.
All right. Well, me personally, I'm a cool guy. I'm understanding, and
you dope.
And I
can, on this show,
and I can talk to a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? And I understand. You know what I'm saying? I understand how it is to be kind of lost, to like kind of lost in essence. You know what I'm saying? Like lost in certain situations. And you know, sometimes I just know, like, sometimes you gotta fish for it. And when people are talking to you, sometimes you gotta fish. You gotta fish for what they really want. Right. You know what I mean? And like me, at my center, I have patience for that. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm called to do that in essence.
But to some other people, like, they're acting stuck up.
Right. So like, I mean, again, so everybody's different. So like, just be prepared for the board. You're not gonna always run into somebody like me. You know what I mean? You're gonna run into people like, they're going to take that damn hourglass, slap it down. All right, you on the clock. What you want? You know what I'm saying? So you got to be about that. So another thing I will talk about when it comes to relationship building, and this is a good one. I want everybody to listen to this right here. When it comes to building a relationship with people, folks, respect the plug. Respect the plug.
Not
you know
literally,
like,
but respect.
Respect the plug. So when you build a relationship with somebody, don't forget that's the person that you build a relationship with. So when that person in that middle introduces you to somebody else, do not go around him to get to that person. Like, I've experienced that. You know, like, I've experienced. Okay, like, I'm gonna use me doing events for an example. So I have a lot of relationships in that space. I have personal, you know, individuals who are, you know, alcohol representatives, so where I can get sponsorships with ease, right? Right. I didn't introduce individuals to them, and there were times where they didn't went around me to try to get to him, and not even just him, but in other. So
you can cross a plug out, not even in the streets. You mean tell me in corporate America, folks like him crosses out the plug.
And people try to do that, but here's the problem though. Y'all don't realize, like, well, for me, like, I build strong relationship with people. Like, I invest in people. You know what I'm saying? And when I invest in people, they invest back into me. So guess what? Like, when you try to go around me, or when you try to go around that person who introduced you, like, not so I'm saying it's gonna come back to them. That stuff comes back to me. They come like, hey, you know, your people hit me up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, but you know, out of respect, because it's understand, like, it's a respect thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, now you don't owe me that, right? You don't owe that person that. But here's the problem though: if you're trying to play the long game or the short term game, because guess what? You don't want to burn no bridges, but you burn a bridge by doing stuff like that.
No, most definitely. Just like as y'all can see, corporate America is no different from the streets. You X out the middleman and try to go around his back. If him and the plug got a good relationship, he always go find out. And you ain't doing it but messing up your face card, just like in the streets. Which brings me to my last question. How important for those who've experienced and have a passion for uplifting their community to get not only involved, but maybe even start their own nonprofit?
I'm going to say it one more time.
how important is it for those who have a passion for a nonprofit? And you probably answered this within the first question, but I'm going to ask you again. All right, how important is it for people who actually have a passion for uplifting their community to get involved? And when I say get involved, I'm talking about getting involved with the community, whether you're out here feeding the homeless, whether you're out here secondary educating kids after school, whether you have your own mentoring program, whether you're out here just cooking, passing out food to people who may not have it, whether you're giving out clothes, just getting involved, helping people register to vote. Also, Georgia just passed a law where the felonies can vote. So your boy is voting for the first time this year. You know, I'm going to give it up for myself right about now.
We'll drink to that.
Yeah, drink to that. Most definitely. So, even because a lot of people have those outreaches going where they're actually getting people who thought that they couldn't vote because of those reasons to vote. Yeah. How important is it for people who not only had that experience but that passion to get involved, man? Because I know typically a lot of times, even with Squad, we have not saying problems or issues, but issues and problems when it comes to volunteering.
Again, it does kind of tie back into the first question that you asked, but I mean, yeah, it's always important to, be a part of a cause. You know what I'm saying? But it's even more important to be a part of a cause that calls you. You know what I mean? Because again, you pour into it differently. You know what I'm saying? If you're passionate about a organization about single mothers or something like that, you're going to be more involved in that. Your engagement is going to be different as opposed to you going outside picking up trash in a community that you don't care about. And again, I'm sorry not to say that it's not needed, but at the same time, you can volunteer and do those things, but when you really trying to dive in, it's important to be a part of something that really calls you. Be a part of an organization that really calls you. Well, if you really want to start your own organization, start something that that keeps you up at night. That wakes you up at night, something that you can't sleep about. That shit that burn, that really burns when you listen to it. You know what I'm saying? Or when you think about it. That's what you should focus on. You know what I mean? And that's what you should really devote your time to.
Right. Wow, man, that was touching. I'm not even gonna lie, man. A lot of things that you have said have touched me personally, and it makes me even question my own morals and objectives when it comes to moving out here. And that's what this conversation and.
Now, why do you say that though? Why you say that it touches your own person from moving out when you moved out here?
Because I'm always feeling like me personally, and this is for me personally. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm always critiquing myself on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of am I really out here even being operations specialist for Squad Incorporated? Mm-hmm. Am I doing this because I really want to motivate these kids and I actually really care about these kids, or am I doing this for Instagram, or am I doing this for these are a lot of things I don't talk to y'all about, and maybe we should start having these conversations, because that's part of my insecurity. But am I really doing it? And my answer for myself always come back to yes, because me personally, I know within myself that I actually care. That's why I started this YouTube channel. That's why I started taking on the responsibility as I have. That's why I work the job that I work as a mental health support counselor. That's why I'm out here doing the things that I know that God has called me to do, because I had to ask myself these hard questions. So don't be afraid to ask yourself these hard questions. Challenge yourself on a daily basis. Never forget where you come from, and respect those who are before you. With that being said, thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Mr. Ray Sean, for being here, brother.
Oh, before we still got everybody.
Right.
We still got everybody on the line. But I actually want to kind of combat what you just said. Like you said, you're an operations guy for us, right? Mm-hmm. That's great. You know why? And it's not necessarily am I doing this for the Instagram, or am I doing this for photo ops or whatever. But you do have an end goal, which is to actually, again, going back to that shit that keeps you up at night. That's what you're actually building towards. You know what I'm saying? So what you're doing is you're getting that know-how from us. You're working with us, and you're gaining that experience or whatever. So don't beat yourself up about that. You know what I mean? Because again, like I said, going back to that action.
It was supposed to turn into no counseling session, but I stay here for it. Okay.
But no, I mean, because that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? Because even with stuff like this, you know what I mean, intention. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You want to be able to educate, because again, there are other people who are thinking the same shit that you're thinking right now.
Wow.
You know what I mean? But bro, you're doing a damn good job. You know what I'm saying? And you moving towards the shit that you really want to work on.
I appreciate that, bro.
That's cool.
I appreciate.
Another thing is for sure. Hey, another thing is, I seen a lot of people asking about this sweatshirt. I definitely did make it myself. The name of our brand now is Sophisticated Ignorance. So, as you can see, I'm sorry I may have some Trump supporters.
Probably not on my line, but we finna see on yours.
But at the same time, elections are coming up, you know, so like we are taking pre-orders. So if you are interested, please DM me and let me know.
Mine is on the way.
Yeah.
So again, what we were drinking today was apple cider rum punch, basically made with apple cider, gold rum. You can choose any lime juice that you wanted, but I chose sweet and lime juice. And your garnishes are going to be your apple slices, your mint leaves, and your cinnamon sticks. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys next week.